Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Daisy and I'm so glad to see you here, and I welcome you to be part of my family. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and like this video. I want to go ahead and let you know what this video is going to be about, and more so what this series is going to be about. So I was thinking to myself that of course I want to go ahead and always give you my best foot forward and always give you the most information that I can. What that means is I want to go ahead and make a series for you in which I begin to introduce to you the world of makeup step by step. Now for today's video, it's going to be more so of a makeup for beginners. But of course, just hold on, because in the future we are going to be adding on to this project, to this portfolio, if you wish, of tips, tricks, more so step-by-step process in order how to get you to maybe in the long run being a little bit more bold, more adventurous, more creative with your own makeup. So I'm very happy to see you here. I'm very happy that you clicked on this video and you decided to watch, because of course this is the first of many to come. I introduced to you our very first video in our mini series in which we're going to be showing you how to put on your makeup step by step. Coming on here, you know, I tend to do my makeup and I tend to more so tell you what I'm doing along the way, but I don't actually break it down. And I think what I want to do is I want to go ahead and dedicate an entire series to that. It might either be called something along the lines of Back to Basics, or it may be our Makeup 101 series. I'm not quite sure yet exactly what I'm leaning more towards, one or the other. But it is definitely something that I'm super excited to be doing, and I'm super excited that I'm going to actually start doing something a little bit more consistent with you. Right here set up in front of me, that way if in case you see me looking down, that's the reason for it. I promise I'm just trying to make sure that I'm doing a good job with my own makeup. I'm going to be showing you my favorite techniques, and then of course I'll go ahead and give you another option if in case that is something that would maybe work best for you. So starting with primer, right here I have two primers that I have been switching back and forth from, and I've been using for a couple months now. The first one right here that we have is our Believe Beauty primer. This is the one that allows your makeup to stay in place for longer. Now recently on a BoxyCharm I went ahead and received this, which is our Benefits Professional, and this is actually something that I used to use a lot back in the day and I loved so much. One, because it smells really good, and then two, because it actually does fill your pores somewhat. Now I'm not going to say it's like 100%, but I am going to say it's like, it's up there, you know, it's up there. What I'm trying to say is, depending on your needs and what it is that you're looking for, you go ahead and find yourself a primer that you can go ahead and put underneath your face right before you put your foundation on. Whether it be something that you're looking for pore filling, whether it be something that you want to go ahead and have your makeup last longer, or if it's something that you're trying to color correct with redness and all of that. In other words, find a primer that works for you and then apply. For today, I'm going to go ahead and use our Professional here by Benefit, and the reason why I like using this is because it just really mattifies my face, and it does help fill a couple of those little pores and fine lines that I have. Now what I do is I just, with my hand and very softly, not dragging any part of my skin around, I just put it mostly on my T-zone. I already went ahead and I did my eyebrows before starting, but I do want to make that a separate video that I will be discussing much more information with you later on. So I wanted to go ahead and leave that part out. If you were wanting that, I'm sorry, not today, another day. The next step for a easy beginner look is going to be your foundation. Now, as far as foundation is concerned, and of course if you're just starting out, I would of course recommend that you start off with drugstore makeup, because that's going to be maybe your best bet, most inexpensive, and today you're able to find makeup that is so good compared to when I was shopping around when I was a teenager. Like, to be honest with you, the makeup back then, not that it was bad, but you had a very select options, and a lot of the times all drugstore makeup worked generally the same. And now they're really dabbling into like formulating these products to make them really nice and almost exclusive like. So I have here with me the Believe Beauty foundation, and it does come with a gold pump like this. It comes with a top. It's made out of glass. It contains 0.85 fluid ounces. It's made, as I said, out of glass, so it's very like, it feels good. for $5. As I was saying, I have my foundation right here, and my favorite way of applying foundation is honestly using a brush. So because of course I want to go ahead and show you that there's many ways that you can do this. I'm going to be using also a sponge. Now these are the two options. I'm going to go ahead and use the brush on my left side, and I'll use the the sponge on my right side. So the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to go ahead and show you up close to see what the finish is like. That way you can be, you know, the judge of it and to see which is that you like more. And don't forget that your fingers are always still something that you're able to use to apply your makeup. Now, if in case you don't have brushes, if in case you don't have certain products, don't be discouraged. In fact, be adventurous. Use your fingers again. So I'm going to do like half a pump to 3/4 of a pump on this side right there, not pushing down all the way, and I apply directly to my skin instead of my brush, because I feel that when you do this, it centralizes it into one area, and then I kind of have to like look back and be cautious as to where that was. When I put it on my face, I can just really start to tap it out like that, and then the makeup is a little bit further distributed onto the brush versus on one specific area, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and, as I said, halfway, and just apply like this. Now, when it comes to the brush, anytime that you do this, meaning like a stippling motion, like tapping it in, what that does is it creates more of a full coverage look. It creates more of a full coverage look in that area. Now, if you ever decide to do streaks like this, for one, depending on the brush that you have, it may leave streaks. But two, this creates more of a medium to like a lesser coverage, not as full in other words. So just be aware that depending on how you use your tools is what outcome you will have in regards to the application that you do. So be aware of that. Now that half pump, I believe, was a really good amount to get started with, but I think I need just a tiny bit more that I will go ahead and do right here. You see that? Like, it's like really like, can you even see that? Yes, you can see it. Okay, as you can see, I really just grabbed like whatever was left onto that area right there, and I kind of just dispensed it out. And then I'm gonna go ahead and go a little bit closer to my eyebrows, because as I said earlier, my eyebrows is something that I already went ahead and did. I really like this foundation, and I mean, I've been using it since January, so I really like it. Moving on to the other side, I'm going to go ahead and do more or less the same technique of applying about half a pump onto my face and using my sponge here. It also came in a BoxyCharm. It's rather large, really nice. I really like it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this, and I'm going to just start tapping it in. So whenever you use a sponge, using a sponge is a very good alternative, because it also gives you a very nice flawless look. The only thing about me and sponges, I feel that it absorbs your makeup a lot. No matter how good the sponge is, it absorbs your makeup a lot. And what ends up happening is you need to go back in there with a little bit more. Now, if I stop and compare the pump that I applied on my left side using a brush versus the same amount of product on my right side using a sponge, then I can pretty much say right now, just by looking at my face, that there's a little bit more of coverage going on my left side, which was the one that I used a brush on, versus the right side. Just because sponges, that's the technique. It's very sheer coverage. But I will say though that as far as the application, it looks really flawless, like really flawless, really seamless. It almost seems as if I stopped right here, I'll just end up with a really flawless face if in case I'm not looking for any more coverage. For one, I really like that a sponge gives you that option. But of course, I can see that there's still some areas right here that need a little bit more right here on top of my eyebrow, just the same as I went back with this. But on this side, I'm missing some on my nose. I feel like I want to cover up more so in this area, especially because I'm still dealing with my milia. And yeah, so let's go ahead and apply just a little bit more. You see, not all that much, just a little bit more. I think that should do it. That should do it for now. So as I said, on my left side, I went ahead and I applied my foundation using my brush. And on my right side, I went ahead and I used the beauty sponge to go ahead and apply my makeup. And if I'm being completely honest, I still personally love the way that the left side looks, just because it's a little bit more of a fuller coverage versus the right side. I feel like I can still see more of my skin, which is beautiful if that's the look that you're going for. But personally myself, I like a little bit more coverage, and that's okay. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to concealer. And I do want to say that because I am looking to do a simple eyeshadow look, I am going to be applying my concealer on my eyelids for today. But if in case it was a day where all I wanted to do was just pop on some mascara, truth be told, I probably would skip this step completely on my eyelids, and then I would have just directly applied my foundation onto my eyelids, just kind of like so I could just even out my skin tone color and call it a day. So I am going to be honest about that, but because I do want to show you how to do these steps, I am going to go ahead and be showing you with my concealer. Now there is of course a possibility for you to buy a base or a primer specifically made for your eyelid. That is something that you can completely do. I'm actually looking for one myself. You've seen me use this with a brush before, but I'm going to go ahead and actually apply this using my finger, because we are showing you that our fingers, I think, are actually a very, very good tool to use. Now, one thing to know about your fingers though, the same way with brushes or whenever you apply your skincare, you never want to basically you never want to be pulling on your eyelid to where you're literally tugging on your skin, because the tissue on your eyes is actually one of the most sensitive in your face and tends to age faster. Again, going onto the other side, small little dab right there using my ring finger because it creates the least amount of pressure, and I am just applying my concealer. Now, as you can see, I did too much on this side. That is okay. I'm going to drag it a little bit to the bottom, and then a little bit out here. Go ahead and bring it into like this side of your eye right here, like the innermost corner of your eye, because sometimes we tend to have like shadows in that area, and if in case we didn't brighten it up using other eyeshadows, then concealer is a good option to at least get you started. I'm going to go ahead and pick up the sponge that I was using on my right side of the face, and I'm just going to use that sponge to lightly tap over my base that I just applied, because if in case there is anything that was applied in excess, my sponge is just going to help pick that right up, and there's nothing to it's not too much on my eye. Now when it comes to concealer, as far as the rest of your face, there is several ways that you can do this. If you decide to go with a color that is very similar to your skin tone, then that color is actually going to help with covering up things like pimples or any little dark areas that you may feel that you have on your skin. That really just kind of like flattens out that area. But if you do decide to go with something lighter the way that I do, then that's when you're really looking to highlighting certain areas of your face. If I had right now a concealer that was a little bit more my skin tone, I would probably use it more so in this area right here, because as I said before, I'm still dealing with that little melia. So I would want to kind of like mute that down and level out my skin tone. For today, since I do only have the one, I'm going to use this to highlight just certain aspects of my face. Be very careful when you do this step, because a lot of the times a little bit goes a long way with the products that we're using. So right here, what I just did is I went ahead and I pulled out my wand and I scraped off as much as I could. I don't want to go anything too bold or aggressive at all. So I'm just taking this and I'm doing a very small little right there, out here as well. As you can see today, there's no triangle that I'm creating. I do have a little bit of darkness like around my mouth a little bit right there sometimes, and we'll get started with that and then just see where it goes. So I'm going to go ahead and this time go back in with my beauty sponge. I'm going to go ahead and take like a corner that is not very much used and just start applying my concealer here. Now the reason why I chose not to do a triangle today is because I'm not trying to be like super highlighted centrally in my face, if that makes sense, because the look that I'm going for is a lot more natural, a lot more day-to-day. So we are just trying to highlight certain aspects of our face. And when I say highlight, it's more to brighten. Just think of it as brighter areas of your face. So that is exactly what I'm doing here. Just like that. Although you only saw me apply the concealer right here in the center and in the corners, I of course, in the process of distributing the concealer, I did bring it forward a little bit more so here, but not too much, if that makes sense. So now that I have whatever left over, I'm just going to use that to tap right into the center of my forehead right here. And I'm going to bring that down onto my nose right here on the center. If in case you do wish to highlight anything, whatever is left will help, but of course not make a huge difference. So that is our concealer right there. Now for today's look, I went ahead and I picked up our Naked 2 Urban Decay Basics palette. And I understand that this palette has been out for so long, and it is probably something that most people don't use. But the reason why I'm choosing to pick this up today is because I encourage you to find yourself a palette that has a degree of shadows as far as like lighter shades, medium shades, and darker shades. And the reason for that is because this way you can at least start to slowly increment the colors and the darkness of the shadows that you begin to work with. So it might be a very good alternative. Of course, this is something that's small. There are many other palettes out there that give you a wider range and a bigger selection. But of course, this is the one that I wanted to try out for you today. So I'm only going to literally be using two brushes, beginner video. We're doing something super simple, super basic, super natural. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take out this very first brush right here. Now this brush is flat on both sides. It's not a fluffy one like this. Okay, so if you can see these two side by side, this one is big and fluffy, and this one's more on the flatter side. The flatter one, this is an e.l.f. brush, by the way. I think it was like $1, if not $3, but this is an e.l.f. brush. And I'm gonna go ahead into the color Stark, which is the second color on the palette right here, and it's my most used, to be honest with you. As you can see right there, second color, Stark. And I'm just gonna go ahead and pick up what I can, and I'm gonna take that, and as you can see, it's applied on one side. So you see that on this side, not this side. And I'm gonna take that, and I'm literally just going to put it all over the eye, like literally all over my eyes. I'm really just putting that all across, and you can do this with any color that would be of your liking, of course. So again, I'm going right here on the inner part of the eye, bringing that up towards the eyebrow, back all the way, and then over my lid. So just like that, very easy, very basic, very simple. We're gonna go ahead and take that bigger fluffy brush right here, and this is more of a dome shape. Now again, this brush, it is probably worth about $1 or $2. I got it on AOA Studio. It is a Shop Miss A brand that I reviewed not long ago. Going back into our Urban Decay Naked 2 palette, I'm gonna go into the color Cover. Now Cover is going to be the fourth color, if you can see right smack in the middle right here. So we're gonna go into now Cover right here, which is a brownish shade. I'm gonna go ahead and take that right there, tapping really lightly into it, picking up some color, and I'm just gonna tap off. Okay, whenever you're beginning, in the very beginning, starting to do your eyeshadows, never just go in straight to your face, because you're gonna regret that. You tap in, you dust out whatever you can, whatever's left on your brush. This time what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus my shadow right in this area right here. So I'm just going to make this little part of my eye, which is the outer corner of my eye, a little bit darker, but I'm going to be careful not to distribute it so much towards my eyebrow. Okay, now when it comes to the way that you hold your brushes, one thing that we need to learn is the closer that you hold your brushes up onto the actual part where the bristles are at, you're going to be a little bit rougher when it comes to blending your shadow. Now, if you start to tug back and you start going towards the back of your brush right here, you actually have a softer hand. So if you feel that your shadows are always too rough or too much, Maybe it's just the way that you're holding your brush, something as simple as that. So go ahead and try pulling your hand back just a tad bit more. And trust me, it may take some practice doing this, because me personally, I'm used to holding it a little bit higher, but I too am trying to be kinder to myself, and just go back a little bit more. So you hold your brush, you hold your brush further back, you dip into your color, you dust off that color, and then you come onto your eye. And did you see that, how my hand moved up a little bit? So I kind of have to remind myself. So I just take that, and very softly I start moving back and forth in little stroking motions like that. And if there's any left, I can start to drag it right here, but not too close to the inner eye, okay? Just like that. And as you can see, it really just gave the eye a little bit more depth, but not too much to where it's like, that's crazy. You know, it's just a little bit something, a little something. That same brush, it doesn't have anything else. Now all I'm doing is just kind of blending, okay? So very important to blend. You see what I mean? Back. But I mean, I'm not holding it that up close. I guess maybe it just feels a little bit more natural, but I do find that the further back I go in holding my brush, the better blending technique I get almost, you know? So I'm picking up just a little bit more. As I said, once you feel that there's not very much product on your brush, you can then begin to drag it a little bit towards the inner corner of your eye, but not too far. Not far at all. It's always easier to build up on a shade rather than bringing it down, because then you went too far, if that makes sense. So now, before I move on to my mascara, I want to go ahead and really quickly just set my face, because it's a step I forgot to do. So I'm going to go ahead and today use the Maybelline Shine Free Loose Powder, and this is in the shade Light. So it looks like this in the back, but in the front it has that blue top, all that good stuff. So you just open this up, and it's really just a loose powder. Now the way that I use this is I go ahead and tap some out onto my top right there, just like that. And then what I'm gonna do is, because I already let my concealer set a little bit, and this is what happens when you let your concealer sit. So let me let it focus. So basically I already allowed my concealer to sit, and I don't know if you can tell, but it's already starting to set into my fine lines. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and take my beauty blender, and I'm going to just, once again, try to, you know, if it happens, cool. If it doesn't, oh well. So I'm just going to try to redistribute right there. And then I'm going to take my big powder brush, take that right there, and all over. Might as well. As far as fine lines, it really just kind of helps diminish the look of them. And overall, it just really gives you like a kind of like just buffs out your face, you know, makes it everything very seamless. So I really enjoy this step right here. As I said, this right here is by the brand Maybelline. I want to say that this was about $5 as well, super inexpensive, and I bought mine at Walmart, but you can find it like at Walgreens, Sally's even. I saw it once there, but it was a little too much. It was like $6.99. No, I was gonna wait from Walmart, so go to Walmart instead. We're gonna go ahead and now move on to our mascara. Now, as far as the mascara that I'm using, I am still using and really need to repurchase the Voluminous Lash Paradise mascara, which is right here. Mine is so ugly and used up, y'all. Sorry about that. But I'm gonna go ahead and use this because I truly really love the way that it makes my lashes look. It makes them look like really nice and full. Maybe not so much now because I feel like it's starting to dry up a little bit, but in the very beginning, and you know, when it had life to it, it just really worked so well. And even today, we're gonna make it work. It really gives you nice, big, voluminous lashes, as it says, without making them super duper clumpy or and having a weird smell or anything like that. So I really just enjoy it. As far as mascara is concerned, depending on how many coats you do is how much of a bold eye you would have. Typically, I start with 1 to 2 coats, but if in case I am looking to do something a little bit more dramatic, that's when I'll go ahead and do a third or maybe even a fourth, hardly ever. But, you know, always build it up to your liking. Now, just because I do something a certain way doesn't mean that you have to. And if you find that you enjoy building on or even using multiple mascaras, because I've seen girls do that, do it, you know, do whatever it is that you gotta do. That right there is my mascara. As you saw, I didn't do any lower eyeshadow or anything like that because again, we're doing everything for beginners. So that way, if in case this is something that you ever wish to try, you know that you can totally accomplish this with just 2 shadows and your mascara. Boom, done, deal, set. I'm gonna go ahead and honestly just finish up my face using a little bit of bronzer. Later on in the future, we'll learn about contouring and highlighting and all that good stuff. But today, we really just wanna close off with just a little bit more color. This right here is by the company Tarte. It is their Amazonian Clay Waterproof Bronzer. And this is in the shade Park Avenue Princess. I have had this for a really long time. To be honest with you, I'm not sure if this is like a full size or a sample size. I really don't know. I don't know. So, I'm just really just picking it up just like that, dusting it off as best as I can, okay? And then I'm just gonna go in and just really give my face a little bit of color. I'm not looking to do anything as far as contour or anything like that. I do know that I personally enjoy adding some bronzer along my hairline right here. I feel like it really just, I don't know, just makes it look, everything's so cute. And then I'll put some right here up onto that part of my hairline, back towards my ear. You see how I'm not dragging it so much right here to like the center of my face? I'm really just keeping it like I can feel this is my high point of my cheek, okay? This is the high point of my cheek, and from this point back is where I'm going. Now, you really do have to start to learn the shape of your face and see where your high points are, see where your shadows would be, because that is honestly how you're gonna begin to learn how to apply these products, to be very honest. So that's honestly what I do. I just look at my face, I feel where my high point is right there, and you see how I kind of like did like a huge amount? That's fine, you know? Blend away. And as you can see, I'm like really close. So obviously that little distribution that I did, it's probably because of that, but I move back and it just really starts to buff out really nicely. So, and it's not just about your cheeks and things like that, okay? You have to come down and remember that this part right here, whenever you come down onto your neck and you start applying a little bit more of that bronzer there, it really just, again, starts to shape out your chin. It starts to shape out anything that you really want. So don't forget those steps, okay? I don't know, I feel like adding bronzer at the end of the look just kind of like brings everything to life. I know I say that a lot about different products, but I don't know. I personally just like when I like those moments where all of a sudden, boom, you're like a different person. You know what I mean? So bronzer is just amazing. Okay, so for my lips, I'm gonna go ahead and go in with lip gloss that I have had for quite some time now. This is by MAC, and it's the Dazzle Glass lip glosses that they have, or had, don't quite know. And this is in the color Love Alert. All I'm really looking for is just a little bit of color, and in this case, a little bit of glitter. And it's a really nice shade. I really like it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply that. There's really no special technique to this. You just literally apply, so. So this is the final look right here. I am so happy. I feel really cute, to be honest with you. I feel really cute, and it was really simple. It was really minimal makeup, to be honest. I mean, you saw it. This would be a perfect easy day-to-day look, and if you wish to really just use it for nighttime, all you really need to do is apply a bolder lip and you're set. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I really hope that this is something that, you know, really interests you. I'm just really wanting to take my channel and make it something amazing for you. I do want to teach you that makeup is fun. I mean, it can be, right? You can be really nice and simple, really wild and bold, or just down to basics and just mascara and go. So I always ask that you drop a comment down below and let me know what it is that you liked. And I don't know, just say hi. Whatever it is that you want to say, go ahead and drop a comment down below. Show me some love. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.